He's the actor, comedian, the great Robin Williams joining us on the program. Robin, how are you this morning?
Good, sir.
I noticed the Coach commercial, and I was wondering with Snickers that I didn't know if you were channeling anybody, any coaches you admired growing up, or was that just you being you?
That was just me. I mean, my coach, the one coach I admired growing up was my cross-country coach, who was a pretty mellow guy, so I don't think he would be good for that. I think that was just channeling my inner diverse self.
But if you were going, were there coaches, managers you admired growing up that still stay with you?
Obviously Lombardi. I mean, the inspirational guys. I mean, I think he was amazing. I think of those guys. I think of all, and also years ago, I think he would be the one that I thought was like the guy you'd go like, if I could be in the game and have him coach me, that'd be incredible.
How do you think you would be as a player? Are you coachable?
Really bad. I'm slow, small, and white. Not very good.
Were you good at anything growing up where you said that's my specialty? No, I'm talking about athletically.
Athletically, yeah. I was good at cross country and wrestling. I wrestled because of, once again, being slow, small, and white. I wrestled 107, which is pretty much male anorexics. How do you make weight? Pretty much drink your own urine. It's the idea of, at that point, wrestling and cross country. I mean, when I was wrestling in the Midwest, and then I played one football game, and I think when I was a freshman, and I was so bad, the coach actually said, there's this other sport called soccer.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So I was on one of the early soccer teams at my high school, and when I came out to California, where they first started having it as a sport in 1969, so it was like, that was fun. But, those are the sports. And cross-country, I was the fifth man of the team, which was kind of great, like cleanup.
See, I could never be a wrestler.
And track, and I ran track, too.
But wrestling, I couldn't put on the singlet. It's not a flattering thing, and then
It's only flattering if you're John Irving and you're putting it on the dust jacket of a book. He would do that. It's like male nipples. At a certain point, you go, no, I don't want to see that on a book. No. No, Hemingway didn't do that. No, don't do that.
But when you were in GARP, The World According to GARP, you're a wrestler in the movie.
Yeah, that was the last time I wrestled in a film, and the first time I'd wrestled since high school. And Irving played the wrestling. I think he played my coach. He was the guy or the referee in one of the scenes.
If you could make a sports movie that hasn't been made, is there one that sort of resonates with you?
Bibi Bakila.
Oh, really?
Ethiopian runner. That when he won the Olympics, and then he was sponsored by Adidas, and then he ran the next Olympics. Because he ran barefoot, he carried the shoes. But he was an amazing runner. I mean, he was kind of the beginning of the African distance runner, incredible, and winning barefoot, and especially he won Rome, I think was the first time he won. But great story. When
you do stand-up comedy, how much of it, your success is based on your material, and how much is based on the audience listening to it?
With comedy, it helps if they listen. I think it's, if the material works, and if they don't, then there's that uncomfortable silence. And if it goes really long, then it's very, very uncomfortable. And then when you start to hear glasses, and at that point, it's good night, ladies and gentlemen. Or as Robert Klein once was performing in the Catskills, he said, well, he wondered, they weren't laughing. Then finally heard this lady in the front row go, "Oi, English."
But it's got to be a little bit intimidating that when you're
big time. No, and it also depends on if you're performing in clubs and how late at night you go on and how much they've had to drink, and it's crazy stuff. I was once in a club in England, and there was a blind guy in the back of the club, and an English comic went on and started to perform, and the blind guy in the back went, "Get off!" And then he waited like 1 second and then went, "Is he gone?"
It's Robin Williams joining us, Dan Patrick Show. The commercial is Coach with Snickers, and joining us on the program. And I was wondering, though, when you sometimes get up there with an audience, and I don't know athletically if there's a comparison, because a guy goes in.
Oh, very much so. I think Chris Rock said it best. He says it's like boxing. You've got to be physically, you've got to kind of train and get ready for it, and it's one-on-one. It's a boxing match with you and them. It's almost like extreme fighting, except it's, verbal. Especially if you get a combative audience, and it really is, it's Roman on that level.
How much, though, if I was going to cast you in a movie, like, Good Will Hunting or whatever it's going to be, how much do I allow you to be you, no matter if it's serious or a comedy, to let you...
I think of us I was trained as an actor, so I can be both actually. So you can get actually both. You can have a little bit of me, but also the character. That's why it isn't the idea of every time you got to go out and be. It's like a woman once walked up to me in the airport and said, "Be zany." Excuse me. It's like walking up to Baryshnikov and say, "Dance." You can be me. You can try stuff and push the envelope a little bit, but mainly it's to see if the character works. That's why people buy or not buy the movie on that level.
But do you like having extra takes, or would you rather do something that's live?
Live is always interesting. It's the scariest thing of all because that's it. What goes out is what's out there. Extra takes gives you a chance to kind of try other things. With movies, a lot of times with movies, especially comedies, you just have to kind of go into instinctually what's funny. And sometimes, like when we were doing Birdcage or whatever, or even Good Morning Vietnam, I could see if I was getting a laugh because the camera would jiggle a little bit because the cameraman was trying to control himself. But it's the idea of if sometimes in rehearsals, like some movies are rehearsed like plays where you actually get to rehearse the entire film and then shoot it. Because most movies are shot way out of continuity. You can shoot the ending of a movie in the first day, or you can shoot, and it's all mixed up, so you just have a sense of where's this going and how do I put it together. You have to kind of have that sense before you start.
Tony Gwynn used to watch all of his at-bats, and, he was doing this before anybody was, had VCRs, and he was, analyzing everything. But if you look back, how much do you analyze what you did before to make you better?
I can't look at myself. Even in the mirror, it's a rough call. I mean, I get an instinctual sense of, I'll say, sometimes if I have to, that's what with video playback, you can look at it and then say, this is why it didn't work. Why? Because you're looking the wrong way. But the idea of looking at it and going back and analyzing it, no, it's more of an instinctual thing of like, that worked, that didn't work, and then going back from there. Sometimes, when I look at myself, I really don't go, whoa, you'll focus on the wrong things, going, is that nostril hair? Yes, they're not looking at that.
But, Miss Doubtfire, if you're watching that, would you nitpick on accent, the presentation, mannerisms?
She could have been tougher. Initially, I tried the voice for her. It sounded a lot like Margaret Thatcher, and I realized that would scare children. Go to sleep right now. I'm going to fire a cruise missile. I had to soften it up because the makeup got so soft and sweet that I had to find. And I based the voice on two people: a Scottish director I'd been working with, and this English costume designer who had a very breathy voice. So eventually, she sounded a lot like this. To the point where the makeup was so good, one time we were shooting in Broadway in San Francisco, and I walked into a sex shop dressed as her to look at some of the devices. That one over there, that looks quite painful, really.
But if I'm around you, how much of Robin Williams am I around? The performer.
You're around me right now. I'm there with you now, Dan.
No, but this would be the way you would be, though, Robin.
I would be, but the truth is, I'm both. I mean, they can be like, I can have fun, play a little bit, but at the same time, quiet. I was an only child, so I'm pretty much used to being. I'm quite capable of being quiet. And here's the other drill: the only way to learn is by listening. So that helps to kind of just be like, when I'm out and about, I'm not out there going, hey, everybody, hi. It's more like, hello, nice to meet you. Or just people come up and there's a weird thing. I think they want me to be on all the time.
Yeah.
Like even when they take pictures with their phones going, smile, and go, I am. This is me. I'm not going to be like, hey, nice to see ya.
But if we went to a Giants game.
Oh, wow.
How would you be during a San Francisco Giants game?
Like any other fan, excited, and then sometimes like, just most of the time I was really quiet. It was kind of wonderful. I enjoyed just being one of many at a Giants game. It's so much fun, man. I used to have season tickets by first baseline, and that was wonderful. And the fans are great, especially when I was going a lot. They were just, hey, Raul, what's up?
But if I
had seats right next to Chris Columbus, we would go, and it's great just to be at a game and lose yourself at a game is wonderful.
But to win
I miss Brian Wilson because that biblical beard. I expected eventually instead of a golf cart, they bring him out to the mound in a Mennonite, like a carriage. You bring him out. Go, Ezekiel, go.
But to win with a team as a fan, as opposed to winning an Academy Award, an individual honor, or to be a part of something that's a team and an experience in a city, the difference in that.
It's amazing the pride you feel as a city. It was incredible that the city just goes crazy. It's such a pride, and the new stadium is wonderful. You just get to that feeling, and even though it's sushi here, you never thought you'd hear that. Someone used to do this joke about how soon before they start offering medication. Metamucil here, Metamucil. I got your bulk colon cleanse here, colon cleanse. For your older fans, something to keep you going through the game, colon cleanse.
Well, congrats on the Snickers commercial. Great to have you on. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. God bless. Take care.
Thank you, Robin. Robin Williams. He gave us a Go Giants there. Yeah. So the commercial is Coach with Snickers. That's one of those you just hold on for dear life. You just try to get the hell out of the way when you have people like that on.